New realities are a way of changing your perception of the world around you or creating a new world around you to perceive. So what we term augmented reality is where we literally augment the world around you. We put data, we put information in your field of vision on the real world. So that can be weather, that can be maps, it could be where's the nearest place to go and get a pizza. Virtual reality is more about creating entirely synthetic new worlds. Now those can be, and those are fully immersive, so rather than a new view on the world you see, they are literally a new world. Well, one of the key benefits to the people who are, I guess immersed is the right term, is retention of information. If you read a book, you read a website, you get some information. If you look at a graph, you get some information, and you'll interpret it and you'll get more information. If you live something, it will stay with you in a much more profound way, and you will gain more better information, you will learn more from it. The benefits to the provider are, firstly, that the people they're providing to have a better experience. That's obviously very important. But secondly, the things they provide are to a certain extent easier to provide. You don't need as much infrastructure investment. You need to create a piece of software that you can download to however many people that you have the equipment to use. You don't need to fly your experts around the world or fly your learners to the experts or the facilities. You can package those tools, you can distribute them, you can update them as you want to go, and that's all done digitally, but as a learning tool, still more powerfully than a series of, let's say, videos or reading materials. Challenges in synthetic worlds. Data isn't ecologically neutral. The more data we ship around, the more energy we need to move, to store, to process it. Data centers are amazingly energy intensive, so there is the power consumption of that to think about. The other one is, however immersive these worlds are, they are no substitute for reality. They're better than watching a video, they're better than reading a book in terms of engaging different learning styles, but they're not real. They should be seen as supporting what we already do, not replacing it. And the third one is simply that they require hardware. It is more expensive to create a VR training course with all the software development, filming, and VR capture hardware and VR tooling than it is to write a training course. However, it may be more cost effective to deliver that training course to 10,000 people by having made the upfront investment and then rolling it out to a large number of people rather than training 10,000 people. So in terms of reaching the potential, governments, organisations, would-be users, I suppose, should first think about where there's actual benefit to be derived from it. So what this won't do is instantly replace every single training or maintenance or educational need they have, but there are places where it is of benefit. So firstly, there's thinking through where there is a tangible benefit, and that can be because it's extremely specialist and there are very few educators. It can be because there's an incredibly disparate set of would-be learners, and actually it's the most efficient way of disseminating the knowledge. It could be that we're looking at science futures that are 500 years in the future and there's no way to immerse yourself in it other than live it. Those are all reasonable, but it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Once they've worked out that there is a benefit, there's a level of skill development required to actually implement a virtual world. So this comes down to actually storytelling. How do you make a believable narrative if you're looking at proper full-on synthetic world, so take the technology futures example. It can be creating the right kind of educational materials in the case of a training simulation. And then, of course, the matter of programming these environments. These are digital tools. Like every other digital tool, they require specialist skills in programming, in digital artistry, and having the infrastructure and backbone to then pipe these data around wherever they are, and however far they need to go, with whatever level of protection they need to or want to put around their information, because ultimately there's potentially a lot of information in there. So we see some great uses for this technology in things like education, virtual conferencing, training, but one of the most interesting, and probably the coolest, I think, is looking at technology futures. So what that means is understanding and visualizing the impact of technology trends in a really visceral way. So let's take climate change as an example. In 20, 30 years ago, climate change was a line on the graph, and we, as a civilization, sort of went, it's a problem, we know it's coming, sort of. In the last 5 or 10 years, it's sort of arrived, and it's become more visceral, and it means people have had to sit up, take notice, start doing things. In terms of virtual realities, if you think about other technology trends we see, automation, multinationalism, whatever, if we can't time travel to the future to see what those trends will do, but we can create synthetic environments and extrapolate the consequences of particular technology trends through working with people like scientists, science fiction people, authors, historians, economists, everybody, to understand, if we extrapolate what we are doing now, this is what the world might look like. And what virtual reality and synthetic worlds then allow us to do is allow those people to live it, to really experience it. So to summarize, virtual and augmented realities are a way for us to do exactly that, to extend our worldview, be that for training, collaboration, information sharing, or to visualize futures that haven't happened yet and really, really live them and experience them. They're an incredibly powerful tool, but should be used in an understanding way. They aren't a one-size-fits-all. They don't do everything. There are upfront costs associated with it, and there are technical challenges associated with doing it. But when done right, they're incredibly powerful tools to help us extend our real world and our worldview.